Imagine reaching the peak of your first major evolution only to realize the second ascent requires you to fundamentally rewrite your very molecular structure. You've survived the brutal tutorial of the lower tiers, but now the system demands you to manipulate the very building blocks of life and matter, carbon. Welcome to Second Ascent, the second explosive installment in Douglas Phillips' action-packed Ascending Carbon series. If you love deeply crunchy LitRPG progression, unique elemental manipulation, and the sheer, unadulterated dopamine hit of watching a protagonist use real-world chemistry to absolutely dismantle arrogant high-tier enemies, this audiobook will completely consume you. It is a masterclass in progression fantasy, blending tactical combat, mind-bending system mechanics, and the awe-inspiring thrill of forging your body and weapons at the molecular level. The narrative kicks off right after the massive breakthroughs of the first book, with our protagonist no longer a rookie, but a rising power in a world that constantly tries to crush them. The Second Ascent isn't just a change of scenery, it's a complete paradigm shift in how power is calculated and wielded. The atmosphere is a brilliant mix of high-stakes frontier survival and the deeply satisfying methodical loop of min-maxing a highly unique carbon-based progression path. Phillips excels at making the science of magic feel incredibly grounded, turning every new molecular structure and every upgraded skill tree into a high-stakes gamble against an unstoppable system-governed world. At the core of the book's addictive appeal is its brilliantly logical, deeply crunchy progression system and the spectacular molecular manipulation trope. This isn't just about swinging a sword or throwing a fireball. It's about compressing carbon into diamond-hard armor, weaving graphene into unbreakable blades, and creating carbon nanotube traps that defy the local physics engine. Watching the protagonist reverse engineer the system's rules, craft overpowered, scientifically accurate gear, and completely shock high-tier elites who rely on basic elemental magic is incredibly satisfying. The audiobook narration brings the visceral impact of the combat and the satisfying chiming ding of a massive system notification to life, making every milestone feel like a hard-earned victory. But beyond the stats and the molecular forging, the soul of Ascending Carbon lies in its characters and the heavy burden of being the vanguard. The protagonist isn't just a cold, calculating min-mixer. They are the anchor for a beautifully dysfunctional, fiercely loyal, found family of survivors who are looking to them for hope. The banter is razor-sharp, providing much-needed levity as the crew watches their leader casually manipulate the periodic table to keep the monsters out. Their unbreakable trust in each other provides the emotional grounding needed when the world starts throwing literal world-ending threats their way. As the plot accelerates towards its climax, the pacing becomes utterly breathless. A massive, high-tier system trial or a catastrophic dungeon break forces the protagonist to push their carbon manipulation abilities to their absolute limits. The finale is a spectacular display of tactical brilliance, overwhelming molecular firepower, and raw, unbridled ingenuity. The protagonist doesn't just survive the assault, they completely shatter the local power scaling, using a ridiculous, highly technical carbon combination to turn the enemy's ultimate attack into a massive power-up. The payoff is spectacular, delivering a massive, dopamine-fueled victory that proves the most dangerous class in the system isn't the one with the biggest sword, it's the one who controls the building blocks of reality. Second Ascent is a triumph of the LitRPG and progression fantasy genres. It is smart, action-packed, and utterly addictive. Douglas Phillips has crafted a milestone book that perfectly captures the thrill of breaking the meta with science and sheer willpower. Plug in your headphones, check your molecular interface, and join the ascent. The first tier was just the warm-up. The second ascent is where legends are forged in carbon.